Inshallah, today I want to cover a very beautiful passage that is in Surah Shura. Today, inshallah, in Surah Al-Fajr, I recited the last portion of Surah Zukhruf. Surah Zukhruf is a surah that comes after Surah Shura. It is in the 25th juz. In this end of Surah Shura, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He first asks us a question, or is almost a statement made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about more versus less. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, فَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِّن شَيْءٍ فَمَتَاعُ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. That whatever you have been given in this dunya, and how much we have been given in this dunya, how many times we admire what we have in this dunya. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is saying that what you have is less, because where you will find more is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ وَأَبَقَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says where you will find more and something that is lasting is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So first of all is, when we go through this question of do you want more or less, it's a human nature. It's the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created us. Based on the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that if the son of Adam has one value of gold, he will want another value of gold. As human beings, we always want more and more. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He first asks us the question that what do you want? You want less or do you want more? When we say we want more, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, okay, fine, if you want more, then you will not find it in this dunya. Because whatever you have in this dunya, it is fani. It's going to come to an end. However, if you want something that is better, now think about this for a moment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says two things here, better and long lasting. Now when we talk about better, how many times we make sacrifices in this dunya because we feel like that there's going to be something better that will come afterwards. You know, long time ago when people came here to America, or a long time ago when people would leave their families and they would go and study. Why they would go and study? Because there was a mindset. You go, you study, you get a degree, you'll get a good job and so forth. During that time, students had to make a lot of sacrifices. So the idea was that in this dunya, I will make a brief sacrifice, a sacrifice of perhaps few years, but inshallah that sacrifice will pay off in the long run. That was a mindset. Even today, for example, people invest so much money into a business. Why? Because there's no return on investment in the very beginning, but there's an idea that let me invest, let me work hard, and hopefully, inshallah, this business will flourish and it will pay me dividends in return. This is the idea. So the point is, the point I'm trying to make is that we, for a lot of times, for what is going to be good in the future, we make a lot of sacrifices early on. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you make those sacrifices in this dunya, but there's no guarantee that that khair is going to come to you. But in the hereafter, I guarantee you that if you do what you have to do, that khair is reserved for you. In this dunya, there's no guarantee of that khair. In the hereafter, there's a guarantee of that khair. And then not only that, but in this dunya, every single ni'mah, even if a person has a business and it flourishes and it pays them back, they get a good ROI, return on investment and so forth, how long are you going to enjoy that happiness? How long are you going to enjoy that investment? Probably 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. There's no guarantee of life. There's absolutely no guarantee of life. I remember my teacher, he was telling me one time, because he grew up in the UK. This was back, I think so, in the 50s and 60s. I mean, it shows you how life is so unpredictable. We do so much work, but who knows what happens around. He was actually telling me that back then, people were coming to the UK to study medicine. There was a group of young men who traveled from, I believe, Kenya at that time. They traveled all the way to the UK. And they studied and they studied. And back home where they were from, and once again, I'm not sure exactly it was Kenya, but one of the African countries. But the idea was that these are young men who have gone to the UK. They're going to study medicine. They're going to come here. They're going to open up clinics over here. This is the future of medicine here in this country and in this city. And they studied for years. And you all know the whole process, especially if you're a doctor. You know the process better than I do. That how many years of studies you have to go through and so forth. What happened was, on the day that they have to return back, they got into a car. They were heading to the airport. One accident, everyone passed away. A reality. It happens. These kind of things happen. You work so hard, But first of all, there's no guarantee of that khair. And even if that khair does come, and it does support us, and it does benefit us, there's no guarantee that that khair will last for a long time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us on the other hand, think about this, how beautiful this ayah is. Allah is saying, وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ. I'm guaranteeing you that khair. And not only that, that khair, وَأَبَقَى. It is long lasting. Unlike this dunya, that any good, wallahi, any good that we experience in this dunya, it does not last for a long time. It is temporary happiness. So now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us once again, the question is, do you want more or do you want less? When we say we want more and we want that which is long lasting, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, let me give you that recipe. Let me tell you exactly how you can achieve that. First of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then after that He goes into a list of things that we have to do. The very first thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says is, this is for those لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, those who have iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you say you have iman in Allah, that means that no matter what challenge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends your way, you remain consistent, you remain steadfast, you remain firm. No matter what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked from us, we say labbaik, and we say amanna wa saddaqana, we say sami'na wa ata'na, no matter what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us. And then He says, these also people, what do? وَعَلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. These are people who put their tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When Allah sends challenges and waves of difficulties their way, what do they say? They say that there must be a benefit behind all this. There must be some reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sending these kind of circumstances upon me. I put my tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that just like He's the one who put me in this situation, He's the one who's going to provide me and bring me relief. And they put their trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they have a husn al-dhan with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Does it end here? No. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you want what's best and long lasting? First of all, have iman in Allah. Number two is, have your tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number three, وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشِ. These are the people that they stay away from sins. They stay away from fawahish. One is a sin that you do it in public. One is a sin that you do it behind the scenes or in privacy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is negating both, and not just negating both. He's saying that anything that goes against, anything that is considered as illicit, anything that goes against haya in modesty, you stay away from those kind of things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَالَّذِينَ يَجْتَنِبُونَ كَبَائِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَالْفَوَاحِشِ. The next thing is, these people are such, وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوهُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. When they get angry, they learn how to forgive. This is something that we find in many places in the Quran. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. We find this in the Quran, a sign of those people who believe in Allah, a sign of those God-fearing people and God-consciousness people. There are those that even when they get angry, and they will become angry. What's beautiful about this ayah is, think about this. The word غَضِبُوا is a past tense verb. For those of you who know Arabic, you know exactly what I'm talking about. غَضِبُوا is a past tense verb. يَغْفِرُونَ is a present tense verb. What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trying to say? You will get angry. Why? It's part of the human nature that you will get angry. There's things that are going to tick you off, things that will crawl under your skin and so forth. But when you see those kind of things, when people do things to you that can make you angry, يَغْفِرُونَ. يَغْفِرُونَ means they are consistent in forgiving people, meaning that you don't ever become a victim of your own anger. This is why the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when a man said that, Ya Rasulullah, give me an advice, when he said, La taghdab, La taghdab did not mean that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, do not get angry. We will get angry. What Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is telling us is, do not become a victim of your own anger. Do not become emotionally compromised. Do not let your anger dictate what you do, but you be the stronger person. You control your anger. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, another hadith, he said, the strong person is not the person who can, I'm paraphrasing here, the one who can pump a lot of weight. Okay? The one who's a stronger person is who can control their anger. Why? Because when people get angry, they have no control over themselves. That is the stronger person. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, who will get that reward? وَإِذَا مَا غَضِبُوهُمْ يَغْفِرُونَ. That when they become angry, they learn how to forgive. The next thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about these people, وَالَّذِينَ اسْتَجَابُوا لِرَبِّهِمْ وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةِ. These are the people who respond and they answer the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Meaning that whenever there's a call, that there are people, sometimes we need people for different things. Or there's a call that volunteers are needed for such and such reason. Or there's a call to stand up for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These people, they stand up for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything that will bring them closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether serving the deen of Allah, whether serving the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are there who stand up for the call of Allah. And then he says, وَأَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةِ. And these people, they establish their prayers. What else do these people do? وَأَمْرُهُمْ شُورَى بَيْنَهُمْ. And when it comes to their matters of life, they consult with each other. The Prophet ﷺ, even though he was Rasulullah ﷺ, he would always consult with others. And he says, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. These people, they also spend from the wealth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. And finally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَهُمُ الْبَغْيُ هُمْ يَنْتَصِرُونَ. And they defend themselves when they are oppressed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَصَابَهُمُ الْبَغْيُ هُمْ يَنْتَصِرُونَ. When people do them wrong, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying over here, according to some translations, they get even. That's not what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. He's saying that there are people that when people do them wrong, they are in full power. They have the full ability to get even with them. They have the ability to apply justice to them and so forth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, but these people, they do not apply justice. They let them go. For example, the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. When the brothers came in, now Yusuf alayhi salam is in a position of power. They are now in a position of weakness. Yusuf alayhi salam is now in a position of power. He could have easily held them accountable. He could have easily punished them for their crimes and so forth. But what did he do? He says, لا تثريب عليكم اليوم يغفر الله لكم. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here in this surah about those who will receive the khair in the abaqa, are those that they are in a position that they can get even with others, but they just let it go. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there were approximately 40-50 people that were captured at the time of Hudaybiyah. There was at a place called At-Tan'im. They were brought to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu could have, executed justice upon them, but he let them go. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He highlights this in Surah Al-Fath. وَهُوَ الَّذِي كَفَّ أَيْدِيَهُمْ عَنْكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ عَنْهُمْ بِبَطْنِ مَكَّةَ مِنْ بَعْدِ أَنْ أَظْفَرَكُمْ عَلَيْهِمْ. After Rasulullah had captured them, Rasulullah could have applied justice, but he let it go and so forth. The point is that how many times you and I are in a position of authority. We can exercise our power and so forth, but in a situation like that, you let people go. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here in these ayahs. So once again, who will receive the best, or who will receive the long-lasting? First of all, Allah said, those who have faith in Allah. Number two is those who have tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number three, who stay away from public sins, from private sins, from illicit relationships and so forth. Number four is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number four was, Number four is when they get angry, they forgive. Number five, they respond to the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number six, they establish their salat. Number seven, they do shura with others. They consult with others. Number eight, they spend what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. And number nine, when they're in a position of authority, in a position of power, they do not exercise their power and they forgive others and so forth. So these are things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned in the Quran. Once again, we always ask ourselves this one question. Do we want more? Yes, we want more. If we want more, we do these kind of things, inshallah, and we remain consistent upon them, inshallah. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us from amongst those who will always receive the khair, and the khair that is abaqa, inshallah, in the hereafter. Ameen Rabbil Alameen. Wa jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما إن الذين يؤذون الله ورسوله لعنهم الله في الدنيا والآخرة وأعد لهم عذابا مهينا والذين يؤذون المؤمنين والمؤمنات بغير ما اكتسبوا فقد احتملوا بهتانا وإثما مبينا